said that they disagree with that and they thought it should be left alone, at least until all that construction's been done, and then decide what we're gonna do. So anyway, that was the 16th. On the 19th, the board issues a harassment policy, which I found kind of amazing that they think we need a harassment policy in this neighborhood. And so that brings me to the hypocrisy of the board, because I feel like I was harassed when on the following Sunday, Gordon trespasses on my property, leisurely walks all the way to the back, then starts down the side back of my property, looking at my private pool area. And 17 minutes later, walks around to the other side of my property between Jim Collins and I, which has nothing to do with anything with the community park. Stays back there for I don't know how long, because he never comes back. And I just want to know, what's the purpose of all this? Why did you do it, number one? And number two, I want to express my displeasure with the board and you, Tony and Chris, for allowing Gordon to stay on the board when he violently and blatantly trespassed on my property with no permission. How would anybody feel in this neighborhood if I just walked up unannounced, anything, and started walking the property line and just say, I just want to do it, you know? It's unacceptable.
He wanted to know where our property is. What's that got to do with the board? What's that got to do with anything? We don't understand it. Our property line has nothing to do with the board, except maybe over to the one side where it meets up with the green space. And other than that, it has there was no business being in our backyard.
Right, and our other side yard here. Had absolutely no business being there.
Never.
So how is that acceptable for you as other board members to allow him to stay on the board? You put out this harassment policy, it's one-sided, all these things at the sole discretion of the board, and all these actions you can take against homeowners, yet, when I have a complaint for harassment, nothing, it's no recourse. You guys are complacent in allowing that to happen.
Okay, would you like to explain why you were there? It was not proper, as you're saying, to be on private property. And you can be assured that that will never happen again from any of our board members here. Let Gordon explain the reasoning he was there, which.
Yeah, sure. I'd be glad to. There's been a lot of discussion with regard to the area between our community and the new community on the farmer side. And there's been a lot of, I'll say, notices on the website also that whether we should do anything with the trees in the common area, should we do anything with other trees? And so I was very interested in finding out, because basically there are trees, most of the trees, and you look at the area that bounds the back of your yard all the way to the entrance, there's very few trees that are really on our side. Most of the trees are on the farmer's side. So I said, okay, if we have a discussion, which I'm sure we would have, I wanted to make sure that I knew exactly what the situation was between the trees on our side and the other side of the fence, and what the impact might be, so we could talk intelligently when we have a discussion on what it would look like after the people come in and clear that out. And that's what the interest for that. Matter of fact, if you'd let me talk a little, I would have told you exactly what I just told you, but you wouldn't.
That was after the fact. Gordon, that was after the fact. You could have rang the doorbell.
Ring the doorbell.
You could have rang the doorbell, you could call me on my cell, you could have knocked on the door, you did nothing. No notice, nothing.
Let me finish. You wanted me to tell you what I was doing, so I am.
So arrogant.
So the idea was to get the information so I knew exactly what the end game might be with regard to taking trees, whether it's on your property or the farmer's property, what the end result was look like. That's exactly what I wanted to do, nothing else.
But what's confusing is what's behind our property.
It's none of your business.
It's none of your business, and it has nothing to do with the community. That's ours. That's ours.
And it has nothing to do with the other side over here between Jim Collins and my property. You're walking my property to go back there in the corner knowing I had no idea what you were doing, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the community.
Nothing.
Okay, That's correct. We are not permitted on anybody's private property without their okay to do so. And that was a mistake that should not have been made, but was made. As far as this board is concerned, everyone is, everybody makes mistakes. And we'll move on from this and watch that does not not happen again.
Okay, and I do want to say this. This harassment policy, the one-sided harassment policy, is just a really sour thing for the neighborhood. You know, I was on the board. Now, I'm going to preface it. I'm under 100 pounds. I have 3 grandchildren. And never once, when I had people yell at me or spin their car out in front of my house, they spun their tires and drove like a bat out of you know where because they were upset over a bush. And I dealt with that, and I'm a little teeny grandma, and I didn't feel the need for a harassment policy. So I'm very shocked that 3 grown men have to feel that they have to put out a harassment policy, like somebody's going to do you harm.
Hey, there was a
I
reason,
never felt that, Tony.
there
And
was a
people were
reason for
yelling
that
at me.
harassment policy to go out. We are not the only organization that has a harassment policy because this came from multiple other ones. And this is to protect our lives if necessary, being in the positions that we are.
And it's not one-sided, it does apply to anybody harassing another member.
And what is the recourse when I feel like I'm being harassed by the board by him trespassing my property? What is the recourse for the homeowner?
Then you go to the management company, file your complaint, and they will proceed from there.
Well, that's been done. So,
Okay, and that was, you were advised to do that, so that's what, hopefully we don't need to use this thing in the future. And we just want to go about doing the business that we're supposed to do to keep this neighborhood looking good. As far as the green space there that you're referring to, and we were looking at, and you're right, and we had a discussion there, which I thought was a nice discussion about, and you said your concerns. That supposed woods right behind the park there, on the plat, we are not to remove any trees, et cetera, without approval from the county. What was being done there and is approved by the county and the city is to remove any dead or vines that are growing in there, in that area. That is it. Anything past that has to be approved by the county. And this board will not go and do it just on our own.
You did.
what you
We
did,
do our research on it, and we do the background that we need to do, then it'll be brought before all the residents to decide whether you do or do not. I mean, as far as I'm concerned here, the less I have to do, the better, but
that's the whole point, Tony. You or somebody had already cut 3 big gaps in the back to the fence to open that area up. Somebody did it.
I did that. And that was
Okay,
all-
so you were removing stuff.
And remove the fence, which we don't own the fence. That belongs to the people in the back. The
Yeah,
community doesn't,
that's right, I did cut that.
yeah, and the community doesn't own that fence.
So, yeah,
That's our behind neighbors.
So I guess the thing is, you say you don't do anything, but yet you were doing it. I mean, you cut big gaps up there, and it looks terrible now. Look, and the growth at least was consistent back there.
the growth was weeds and vines, and those were cut along with,
Along with the fence. That this community does not own.
yeah, well, we can always put our own fence up if we'd like, and, to correct that issue. We'll be working with our partners over on or our neighbors on the other side to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Well, I think it's more important that you make sure all the homeowners are on the same page. That this community is on board with whatever plans that you guys are coming up with over there.
Well, nothing has been done as far as any plans and anything taken care of. We're doing our due diligence so that we can research this, and this board has been upfront with you on everything. Okay. So, thank you for your input, we appreciate it. Okay, moving on, reading and approval of minutes from the August meeting, you all have copies of that, do you okay that?
Yes.
Okay. Treasurer's report. Operating account beginning balance as of 8/22 was $28,593.23. No additional income. We had Proscape Properties, 430.79. Proscape Properties again, $675. Community Management Partners, $180. Greenville Water on September 16th at $7.46. And 9/16 Greenville Water for $29.30. I believe that's what that's.
Yeah.
Duke Energy's $357.89. Again, Community Partners on October 1 for $180. Greenville Water for $30.98. Greenville Water for $46.34. And Duke Energy for $369.22. For an ending balance as of 10/28 of $26,286.25. Reserve account beginning balance as of 8/22 was $22,727. Interest earned is $3.02. 9/30 interest earned of $2.80 for a ending balance on 10/28 of $22,733.81. A motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Second.
Okay, approved. Okay, ARC committee report, you don't have a report from the ARC committee, anything on that?
We did meet on 9:30, and went over the ARC request from Guido and Lorraine, and that was approved. The Hurricane Helen aftermath, we talked about that, to ask if anyone needed help in the neighborhood. We had no requests from that. Just the Ripple Fiber and 18, or Frontier, just asking homeowners to kind of be aware of what was going on there. We did have a new member join the ARC committee, at Sherry Cantrell, and she will be the new chairman of the committee. That was what, that was our last meeting.
Okay. Okay, no social committee report. Move on to unfinished business, architectural review guideline changes. Again, that's the hurricane, whatever, tropical storm, whatever you want to call it, came and did all its damage. Then had a chance to continue on that. Plan on having that ready for everybody to look at by the end of the week. Okay. Now the first chance at the 2025 budget, I forwarded that to take a look at it, go through that. So we need to then go and discuss that and figure what we want to do on the end.
Okay.
Debit card, I did pick that up today from Simon. So if we have any expenditures that have to be made for the organization, we now don't have to use our own credit cards, debit cards, and whatever for reimbursements. Next, park common area, which was part of that discussion we just had there. What I would like to do with that, so that we can find out what direction the majority of the residents want to go with, that we put together a Google form with the questions on there. In favor of this, not in favor of it, doesn't mean we're gonna go ahead with it. Just, what are your feelings on this before we go and spin our wheels for nothing?
Sure,
To make sure we have a direction we wanna go in, and then
first step.
go from that. And based on the input from that, if we can get enough input, maybe we can get a committee together. Have them go through, gather the information, costs, et cetera, things that can be done, and go with that.
Can we, what about going to like Guido? He was talking about, he had some good ideas
Yeah,
up there, so we'll approach him, see if he's interested in doing the committee.
sounds good. Yep. So we'll do the, so we put our list together, how we went to the questionnaire to go, get it out to everybody, and get that moving, one way or another. It
Yeah.
stays the way it is, it stays the way it is. It's just,
Okay,
okay, next, we had talked about the CD investment. Based on, excuse me, based on what we have right now on the current operating income, we have enough more than enough to cover any expenses that would go for the next 2 months. I just wanted to see what you thought about transferring $10,000 out of that account into the reserve account to get that up, and then have Simon invest that into a CD.
Anything we get on interest is better.
So
yeah, that sounds good.
instead of having money sitting in a checking account, we're not making anything on, put that in there. Since it's in a reserve account, we can go for a longer term on it. We don't see anything that catastrophic that would happen definitely not within the next year, probably not within the 5 or 10 years, but that way we still have it available to us.
So, it'll leave us plenty to carry out the rest of the year.
Plenty for the rest of the year. So can I have a motion to do that?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we will transfer $10,000 from the operating income over to the reserve, and then have him invest that the CD. Okay, next RFQs.
RFQs. Oh, I'm sorry, I left it at home, but I'll send it to you.
Okay,
We're doing real well. We've got 6 RFQs out for landscaping. We've got 4 RFQs for the trees and plants, and 2 for the detention pond. We got a meeting Friday at 1 o'clock.
this
with-
coming Friday,
Yes, if you can
I'll
make
be,
it.
I'll be out of town. I'm
Okay.
heading,
Well, you already know, this one's Bartlett.
Okay,
We're just coming over, and you haven't met Bartlett yet, I don't believe. So you meet him, we'll just go over the RFQ, look at the area, and prepare his quote.
is he doing are they doing the trees and bushes or the retaining?
They'll be doing the trees and bushes. So
Okay.
I sent out 2 retaining ponds, one we met.
Yeah.
The other said he's going to get back with me, but he hasn't yet. But other than that, not really. And then I sent all 3 RFQs to the current landscaping company as a courtesy, of course. So they got all 3 of them. And a couple of these have a couple RFQs, but I've got a spreadsheet that has it all listed when I called them, when we could expect it. And we should start getting bids pretty soon now. So I was a point man as far as any questions on the RFQs, all the information will come to you. Either they have a question, they'll email you, or I requested it electronically send their bids. So it's starting to get momentum, and so that's good. And then one of them was I just got a hold of them today now. You know that big community over on Hip Road, over by the
Yeah.
fire station?
Yeah.
The people that do that, I talked to their HOA committee, and they said, yes, they do very well. So I got hold of them today,
Okay.
and, sounds like maybe next week sometime.
I did talk to the, Rita's friend that has the, was on the HOA at, over off Bethel Road, and they didn't have retention ponds, so
Okay. Yeah,
don't know how they got by with it, other than it's an older community.
Yeah.
so later today, I'll email you the, my spreadsheet, and so it's got all of that kind of thing, all the contact information and so forth.
Okay,
That's it.
okay. And I left it on unfinished business, the message board. I think we'll just leave that as unfinished business until it's determined what we're gonna do with the park area there.
Okay.
Okay,
I have a question. When I came in yesterday, I was coming back from something. I've been running so wide open here in the last. They were putting palm trees out. Was that the guy that bought that, or the guy that
Yeah.
owns the house up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
The new guy.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty-
I seen them
Yeah.
cleaning down that, the front section, and they had palm trees, and I'm like, palm trees
Yeah.
out on the road. Are they?
I guess he's putting his backyard. I saw his fence was
In the back.
pulled back.
That's a mess. Yeah.
Yeah,
We had palm
Storm
trees
did-
all over, well, we had palm trees all over the place there in Polly's Island when I lived down there. They were a nightmare.
yeah, after the storm coming through, I want the least amount of trees that I can have on my property.
Well, those are a nightmare storms because the roots, they have such a small root ball.
Oh, I
Yeah.
have to hope,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll blow over in a heartbeat.
let's hope
Yeah.
this is a once in a lifetime thing here.
Looks like we're alone.
No, we still have, yeah, there's still people here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there they go.
Okay, any new business? Oh, yeah, one thing on new business. Like to have our yearly meeting for the whole
Oh, yeah.
association. Either the first or second week in December.
Should be good with me. I
Okay.
don't think I have anything going in December, not the first part of December anyway.
Okay, Simon, the only time he does not have is at the second and third. Other than that, he's okay. He's okay for the second week as well. So we'll determine, talk to the library, see what they have available, and then we can set it up for then. So we're back on the yearly as it's supposed to be. And we'll have the budget available before that, so everybody can take a look at it for discussion at that.
Great.
Don't see anything else right now that would require any kind of vote, but that can be brought up. So
Okay.
that's it. Anything else?
Enough for me.
Okay, and meeting is adjourned.
All right.
So thank everybody that was there to see it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.